So this idea of unit classification, in order to truly understand what a unit is, we have to recognize the relationship between metaphysics and epistemology. I mean, most of my videos are epistemological, that's what I do. Metaphysics, however, I'll explain a little bit what it is. And I'm going to try to make this as simple as possible. Metaphysics, as I've written, is an analysis of being, right? And the question is, well, what is being? For Aristotle, it's the form that a thing takes, the fact that it's embodied in a thing, this thing here, right? It's the thisness, right? Only philosophers understand what I'm talking about. I apologize, but it's the stuff, the material fact of the matter, right? That this thing is, right? So what I've said in the notes, this is ... That is ... I am ... These are all metaphysical statements, right? This is G.I. Joe action figure. I was looking at my G.I. Joe action figure on my counter, which I love. So this is a G.I. Joe action figure. Okay, that's a metaphysical claim. It's not a very substantial metaphysical claim, but it is a metaphysical claim. I'm referring to the existence of that thing there, right? Again, as I said in previous videos, it's ostensively defined. It's defined by me pointing to it, that thing there, right? Contingent on my perception, right? So that's metaphysics, roughly, right? Epistemology. Epistemology. Epistemology is sort of, I would argue, not independent to metaphysics, but sort of an extension, if you will, of metaphysics. I take the claim that that is, and I would say, I know that that is, I know that, well actually, yeah, I know that that is, I know that that is, right? That is this section of the statement is my metaphysical, and this section of the statement is my epistemological, right? I know, epistemological, that this thing is, its being exists, because I know, epistemological, that is metaphysical, right? So, epistemological claims, you know, what I do is, and this is pedagogy, right? Epistemology, you can't extrapolate pedagogy from epistemology, right? I know that that is because it's a combination of two things. I'm going to tell you that that thing is, and it's not a figment of my imagination, because I can go over there and grab it. Now philosophers argue this for millennia, and some of the argument gets a bit absurd. And Rand's account, her epistemology, her objective epistemology, is sort of indebted to the frustration that people like G.E. Moore and others have, because G.E. Moore says, I know I have a left hand because I have a left hand, right? Don't try and tell me that my left hand is a consequence of some solipsistic, you know, imaginative ability, right? Let's not be Berkeley and be subjective idealists and say that none of this really exists in the material world because it's all consequences of my mind, right? Rand is giving a very, very sort of pragmatic, not in the American pragmatism, just sort of general pragmatism. She's giving a very pragmatic account of our knowledge, right? I come to know things, why? Because there is this thing, the external world, right? It's undeniable, it's right here, right? Let's be rational about the external world. Let's not fall into this sort of endless philosophical arguing on how can we prove that there is an external world. It's ridiculous, right? Let's take it as a given because it's perceivable, and let's extrapolate from there. That's sort of what she's doing, right? She's very sort of pragmatic in that sense. All right. So what is the unit then? For Rand, the unit is, for Rand, the unit is the link. It's the bridge. She uses the word bridge, but the link of the bridge. For Rand, the unit is the bridge or the link between metaphysics on the one hand and epistemology on the other. It connects the being of a thing and my knowledge of that being. So the claim that I know that is a G.I. Joe doll, there is, in a sense, an attempt, there has to be, insofar as I'm a living organism, a human being with a rational mind, I have to recognize, one, that that thing is, the entity exists. But insofar as I recognize that that thing exists, I affirm my ability to know that that thing exists. It's inextricable, right? When we talk about metaphysics, we talk about epistemology. When we talk about epistemology, we talk about metaphysics. You cannot separate the two, right? A lot of people have tried, and I think failed, to separate metaphysics from epistemology, because when it boils down to it, my knowledge is of some being, and that being is only real insofar as its perception, its sensation, its conceptualization is directed towards me, the perceiver. I hope that's not too technical, but I mean, a lot of you really understand the discourse, so I'm not, but I want people who don't really understand the material to gain access. So I did a little diagram.